SBR Videos is sponsored by Sports Cash System. Click on the link below for more information. Hi, welcome to SBR Forum Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are previewing Week 16 in the NFL, and we're talking with Scott Kellen from tthe, who always gives us great insights and analysis into these NFL games, and his record is also very winning with us, 15-9 against the spread on the year in our free picks videos here. Scott, thanks for being back with us.
Hey, you got it. Thanks for having me, Peter.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for all the picks, the winners that you've given us all season long, 15-9. Great record. Tell us a little bit about sixcentsports.com before we get into Indianapolis, KC.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Peter. Sixcentsports.com. We're an NFL-only handicapping website. 9 out of 11 winning years. And as I've said in here every week, we take a lot of pride in being completely transparent with our picks. You can see all of our picks 30 minutes after the game. They're posted up on the website. And we've got records going back for all 11 years. And you'll see every pick that we've made this year, every pick that we made last year. So you can see all that. And if you got any questions, give us a question. I'll get right back to you and answer. We've got very, very inexpensive prices for the rest of the season. And again, 9 out of 11 winning years, NFL-only handicapping. It's all we do. So if you're playing the NFL, give us a look. And if you like what you see, let us know. We'll be happy to get you signed up for the rest of the year.
Okay, sounds great. I always look forward to our discussions every week. And the second game that you chose this week is Indianapolis at KC. Interesting that you chose that one as well. Now, KC, of course, absolutely rolled the past 2 weeks, but they did dominate two teams that, were having a lot of problems, a little bit suspect. Indianapolis, of course, is a playoff team. Bit of a different situation here, although Indianapolis, they've been hit hard by injuries. They're already in the playoffs, so, you can pretty much assume that, they're going to be looking towards the playoffs and maybe not giving, a full effort in these next 2 weeks. And, if Indianapolis comes in here and just kind of mails it in, looking ahead to the playoffs, then I guess KC minus 6.5 or 7 at home has good value. The total's also 44, which has gone up significantly since the opener of 41.5. What do you like here, Scott? Why'd you pick this game?
Yeah, I like Kansas City. It's an interesting matchup in that once the playoffs start, KC could be, if they end up being the wild card, they'll probably go to Indianapolis and play. So, you can also question what's KC going to do. I did read earlier, if you take it, for what it's worth, that Andy Reid said they're going to play hard. I mean, they may rest a couple injured guys, but, the Kansas City can still win this division, too, although Denver's got a pretty easy schedule to finish the season out. But for me, Kansas City, they qualified a couple of great late-season situations for me. One's 133-70 with 4 ties. It also applied to the previous game that we did today. And then the other one is 57-18-1. It plays on really good teams late in the season, coming home after they've played a couple of road games. I think we used this situation with Denver over Tennessee a couple of weeks ago, and it's going to pop again this week. And if you look at Indy, we all know what's happened. They've had the injuries, and since Reggie Wayne went out, you could really question how good of a team they are. As a matter of fact, on the road this year, even I think they played maybe 1 or 2 games with Wayne against 500 or better opponents. They're 1-3 straight up on the road against 500 or better opponents. Those games they lost by 14 at Cincy, lost by 29 at Arizona, lost by 10 at San Diego, and then way back early in the year, they did punch San Francisco in the mouth, and they beat them by 20. But they have not fared well. As a matter of fact, their last 4 wins, they got 2 wins against Houston, and they have 2 wins against Tennessee. So it's not like they're beating the best competition in the world.
Right.
While you've got a Kansas City team, which, this team is a very weird team in the sense that early in the year, their defense was dominating, second-string and third-string quarterbacks. Their offense couldn't do anything at all. It's almost kind of reversed its role.
Yeah.
And Kansas City has now scored 28 points or more in 4 straight games. Also, that offense is clicking. I don't know if Andy Reid is, as the season's progressed along, they're learning the offense better. If he's gotten more aggressive, I'm not quite sure. Obviously, playing Washington and Oakland, that's going to help their offense. But, they did this against, I guess, a San Diego defense, which isn't great, and a Denver defense, which maybe isn't great either. But the Indy defense is not good either. So I think, in a combination with the strong situation, I make the number 6.5, 7 points. So I think we're fine on the line. And then you combine that with the Indy team that, like you said, they may just kind of mail it in a little bit. And they've just played horrible when they've stepped up to tougher competition on the road this year, I think the 6.5 or 7 ends up being a cheap number. And Kansas City's on a roll right now. And if they can score 30, 35 points again, I don't see Indiana matching them score for score in this game.
6.5 and 7 are both widely available numbers right now, so we can give you KC minus 6.5 for the purposes of our record tracking in this video. Quickly, what do you think about the total? Because I looked at this, I actually bet the over at 42, not because I thought it was necessarily a good bet, but because I was so sure the total was going to go up because of, like you said, the change in KC, how explosive they've been on offense recently. Now it's up to 44.
I think in this game, what you always have to worry about in Indianapolis games too. They'll slow that game down and they'll kind of methodically go through their offense. But obviously, if they get behind, they're not going to be able to do that. I don't see Kansas City slowing it up. I think they'll just keep going. It's kind of Andy Reid style, I think, and they're kind of moving along right now. Why would you want to break that momentum? I like at this point in the season, I like to look at stats for the whole season. And then also the last 4 weeks and kind of blend those numbers a little bit. The last 4 weeks, you're going to get a score like 33-23 or something like that. I haven't run all my numbers yet this week, but and just looking at that's going to project a very, very high scoring game. Mm-hmm. If I look at it just for the whole season as a whole, I get, as I'm looking here, probably about a 25-20 game, I guess, give or take, not taking into account the home field advantage. Mm-hmm. So it's still going to land you to slightly the over. And like you said, if you get 42 and this thing keeps going up, you're going to beat the closing number, and that's usually a pretty good sign as well. And 42, 44 in this environment today, that's a low number. 23 is the average score right now, so you're looking at about 46 points a game, so you're below average as it is. And I'm watching games with some guys this weekend, and one of the comments the guy said, you just can't take unders anymore because you get these pass interference penalties and whatnot. It's just really tough for games to go under. So I think you definitely have to lean over. And if Kansas City gets their 30 points plus again, then you're probably looking extremely good for the over as well.
All right, but for the purposes of these videos, you're going to take KC minus 6.5. Great call, as always, Scott Kellen from 6thSenseSports.com. Thanks. Talk to you again next week.